Firstly, congratulations on that big deal, 5,000 crore rupees, perhaps one of the biggest outbound deals that has been struck by an Indian pharma company in recent times. Tell us, what was the rationale behind such a huge bet? Because we are looking at a situation wherein the likes of Sun Pharma are still grappling to digest the Ranbaxy deal. So what made Lupin go ahead and take this big plunge in the first place?
We've been speaking about the fact that we are looking at acquisitions for the last several quarters, so to speak. And look at our balance sheet today. It's absolutely ridden of debt. We have absolutely no debt on our balance sheet. So that gives us the firepower to look at acquisitions in a big way. But that said, we looked at acquisitions into three buckets. The first bucket where we looked at, in fact, geographical spread. The second bucket where we looked at, in fact, specialty. And third bucket where we looked at, in fact, technology platforms. This particular asset is particularly attractive for us even though it's a generic asset, it's very attractive in terms of the capabilities that it brings to the table. For starters, in fact, most of the products are niche products, in fact, and the kind of EBITDA margins that they display are very, very good. We are talking about 36% EBITDA margins for, in fact, in the current year, so to speak. At first sight, it does look as an expensive proposition, but let me assure you, it's far from that. At $880 million and an EBITDA, if you're speaking about 36%, we are talking about this coming to, in fact, a pretty large sum, and we're talking about an EBITDA multiple of only 16 on that, and that actually means that we've got a payback period of about 7.5 years in this, and by any stretch of imagination, I think it's a fairly reasonable, payback period. You're pretty gung-ho about the other capabilities it brings to the table, including, in fact, a manufacturing unit in America, something which we have not had till date. One of the biggest companies around operating in America without a manufacturing plant out there. So it adds significantly to our overall capabilities, including the quality of people, the quality of filings, and so on.
Another aspect which was spoken about the target was the fact that it has a considerable R&D setup, which would definitely complement the R&D setup that you have for your inhalation center in Florida. So that's one of the other, one of the other aspects that would bring a level of synergy to this deal. But still, the street seems to believe that this target has annual sales of about $96 million. So we're looking at 9 times sales that has been paid by Lupin. Could you help us understand some of the other longer-term benefits that could accrue from this deal? Or would this be a deal which would take time for the benefits to trickle in?
I just told you about the fact that the past is not really indicative of the kind of the future the sales that this company could have. We are looking at, in fact, tripling the sales from this company to about $300 odd million. In fact, to be higher than $300 million by 2018. So as I said, the payback period, as we estimate, is going to be about 7.5 years. And to repeat, it's something which we think is very reasonable.
Another aspect that drove the deal, based on your statement yesterday, was the fact that it could add some beef to your product pipeline as far as the dermatology segment is concerned, as far as the controlled substance products range is concerned. What kind of revenues do you think you could in fact get from this deal in the long term, based on post-acquisition closes?
They got a pipeline of close to about 65 products that they could be launching, in the next 3 years, and bulk of this would actually be launched in the next 3 years, so to speak. So we are speaking about 300 odd millions coming in from, in fact, over the next 3 years, so to speak. You also, and your previous question is also relating to, in fact, the R&D capabilities that it brings. So we have actually looked at the quality of filings, the quality of people that they have employed, and we are very satisfied with all of those. And of course, we've got their existing team to work with us, including the promoter who will work with us for some time, to get the whole thing kind of integrated well into our operations.
Find us on Facebook at facebook.com/ETNow, and don't forget to click the like button. You can also follow us on Twitter at ETNowLive. To stay updated with all our programming, hit the subscribe button on our YouTube channel by logging on to youtube.com/user/ETNow.